grab your coat and get your hat. Leave your worry on the doorstep. Just direct your feet to the sunny side of the street. Can't you hear a pitter-pat? And that happy tune is your step. Life can be so sweet on the sunny, sunny, sunny side of the street.
Hi, welcome to another On the Sunny Side of the Street. I'm your host, Todd Gross, a clinical psychologist and director of Adams Street Associates, a group practice in Newton. And our show, as you know, we really love to focus on the side of reality that you very rarely hear on TV and in the news, which is the positive side of human nature, people helping other people. And we've done several shows where we've focused a little bit on helping young people, children, really do better, and the people who are involved in that are definitely part of the sunny side of the street. We've done a show on early intervention, and we've done a show on the Efficacy Project, which kind of helps children get off to achieving more of their goals academically. Today we have another wonderful program that really helps children, and it's called Cradles to Crayon. And here to help us talk about it, we're lucky enough to have Elizabeth Farley, who is the Marketing and Communications Coordinator of Cradles to Crayon. Hi, Liz. How you doing?
Hi, thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for coming. I really appreciate it. And I wonder, maybe as a way of starting for our audience, if you could say just a little bit about the history of this program, what you know of how it got started.
Sure. So Cradles to Crayons was founded in 2002 by a woman named Lynn Margario. And she really started the organization in the corner of her office.
Oh, really?
She had a consulting practice in the city, and she realized on a visit to her niece and nephew's home over the holidays that there were children who, especially around that time of year, were getting so many new things, when at the same time there were clothes and toys still in the packages,
yes,
clothes hanging in the closets that they had already grown out of, and the tags had never been
going
removed.
to waste in a
Yes.
way. Yeah.
And then at the same time, there were so many children who didn't have those basic essentials, clothes, toys,
Sure.
books, school supplies. And so she came up with this, with Cradles to Crayons, with the model to connect these people who had items that were still in good use, but they didn't need anymore. And then there were the children who really needed them.
Well, that's already sounds like a wonderful idea. It makes a lot of sense because we all have items around that are still usable, but we don't need them anymore.
Right.
Can you say a little bit about how you got involved in Cradles? You were telling me a little bit before. I wanted the
Sure.
audience to hear a little how you got involved to doing this and what role you play in the organization.
So I graduated from college in 2010, and following graduation,
And that was Bentley, right?
Yes.
Local people here will know that, yes.
and I decided to do a year of service with a program called AmeriCorps, which is a national service organization.
Right.
And I did a branch of AmeriCorps called VISTA, which focuses on capacity building. So instead of direct service, you really work in the office building the capacity of an organization.
I see.
And I did my year with Cradles to Crayons on the community outreach team. And I really loved it. It was
Yeah.
such a great year. And following the completion of my year of service, I decided to stay full-time and do marketing and communications, which is what I went to school for.
I see. And you've already started to answer this one, but I wonder if you could say a little bit more for the audience so they'll understand what's the mission or philosophy of Cradles to Crayons? Just, you started to say, but I'd like to hear more.
So we provide low-income and homeless children ranging in age from newborn to age 12 with all the basic essentials they need to feel safe, warm, ready to learn, and to feel valued, which the valued part is, it really ties into our model a lot, because our volunteers sort every donation that comes in the door to make sure it's still good quality items, so the children and their parents can feel proud to be wearing those clothes even if they've been used before.
So that has a lot to do with people's pride and people's self-esteem,
Yes.
and that's definitely a part of your mission. Say a little bit, if you would, too, Liz, about how the program operates and how who's eligible to get the kinds of kits that you were talking about before that kids do get.
Sure. So Cradles to Crayons has a network of over 300 social service partners. So they may be at a hospital, in a school, in the community, those social workers are the ones that they're able to place an order for the children that they are working with. So it really helps the social workers as well, because as you mentioned about early intervention, so we work with many early intervention programs, and it's hard to really work with the families to get them to go to school and start when they don't even have a pair of shoes to get out the door.
Right.
So it really meets those needs so that the bigger issues can be addressed.
I see. And also for the local audience here in Newton too, are there Newton agencies or people involved from Newton that get involved in Cradles to Crayons? Schools and things like that?
Yes, so Newton is really a great supporting community of Cradles to Crayons. All of the schools, both in the fall and in the spring, host collections for Cradles to Crayons. So all the students clean out their closets and bring all the items that they've either outgrown or don't need anymore. And in the fall, Newton holds a large sorting day. This year it was at City Hall with the mayor, and they sorted all of the items and filled a 24-foot truck.
Whoa.
With all great quality items, and that was brought to the warehouse. And coming up on April 29th, as part of Newton Serves Day, there'll be a truck at City Hall Plaza, so if everyone's going down there to get their t-shirts and then go to their service sites, they can bring their new or gently used children's items to City Hall that day as well, and that truck will then be delivered to Cradles.
One of the things I love about what you're saying is just how many opportunities there are for people to be involved and to feel like they're making a difference and helping other people. Where are some of the other places that donations come from too?
So mostly they come from the community, but aside from that, we sometimes get donations from companies, maybe if they have overstock or samples and things, they're able to donate those to us. And it's always great when we can get some new items, especially shoes. I love when some of the local shoe companies are able to donate new pairs of shoes for the kids, because that's so great to get a new pair of shoes.
Wow, that is great. I guess one of the things that I'd love to hear from your experience in the program, Liz, is some stories that will give people the personal touch of what it really means to these families and to the kids, and also to the volunteers, I'm sure, too, to be a part of giving in this way.
So there are over 305,000 children just in Massachusetts from newborn to age 12 who fit into that low-income or homeless situation, who don't have those basic essentials that I mentioned.
Yes.
And their parents are forced to make decisions between sometimes buying groceries or buying a new backpack to go back to school. And there's one story that really I think about often, and unfortunately we've heard it from more than one social worker, that sometimes, especially during the winter months, parents are forced, if they don't have a winter coat for the children, have to make that decision between sending them to school cold or keeping them home and not going to school, which creates such a bigger issue.
Yes.
And there was one story where the mother had 3 sons, and she just had 2 winter coats though. And so each morning or the night before, she would decide which 2 children she would send to school and which child she would keep home, because you don't want to send them to school, and if it's with the bad weather, then if they're if it's snowing or raining and they're sitting in school all wet, they can't focus and everything.
Sure.
So that's a story that really gets me every time.
And that's the kind of the population you really want to reach and make sure that that 3rd kid gets a coat.
Yes, and that the mother doesn't have to make those
Absolutely
difficult decisions.
Yeah. Any other examples where do you get to see some of the kids actually getting the kits, or do the volunteers get to see that?
We work with the social workers, and they're the bridge between us and the children, so we don't see, and the volunteers don't really see those children who are receiving things from us.
Yeah.
But around back to school time, we have a large event on City Hall Plaza with some of our corporate partners, and this year we're going to be filling 30,000 backpacks. And following the event, then we do some distribution events where we distribute the backpacks. And at that time of year, we are able to see some of the kids and the smiles on their faces to receive a brand new backpack filled with school supplies. Just so great.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, that smile is worth a million, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
I bet. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Tell me a little bit about, for people who are watching, the volunteers, their training, the roles they play, and maybe even at the end of that, if you can say a little bit how people who want to be involved in the program could contact you too.
Sure. So in addition to in the community with people cleaning out their closets and collecting, we have a big warehouse, which we call the Giving Factory, and it's located in Brighton on North Beacon Street.
Okay.
It's a 37,000 square foot warehouse, if you
Big.
can imagine
Wow.
what that looks like.
Yeah.
And it's divided up into stations, so we have a toy shop.
I see.
We have an outfit making room, we have a baby room, we have a shoe room and everything like
Wow.
that. And so the volunteers are able to come in, and volunteers can be as young as 5 years old,
Wow.
which is what another reason that Cradles to Crayons is unique, because we're really one of the only organizations in Massachusetts where someone as young as 5 years old
I love
can
it.
have a tangible volunteer experience and make a difference.
Boy, that is powerful. For
Yes.
somebody that young to be involved. I love that you can do that.
And so the volunteers, they come in to the warehouse. Last year we had over 24,000 volunteers, and we need all of them, and because every item is inspected for quality to make sure, like I said, it's
Yeah.
not ripped or stained, and these kids can feel great to get the items.
Yeah. Are there items that get rejected because they're just not in good enough condition too?
Yes, and that's at the hands of the volunteers, so we really value their work because they make the choice between whether it's good enough to go to the kids or whether it should be passed on to another organization, which we do partner with other organizations who are able to take the items that we may not be able to
I
use.
see.
So the items never go to waste.
And no, that's great. And are there individual lists? Each kid has a list, sort of like Santa Claus, you know,
Yes.
that everyone has a list of the things they need?
Yes, exactly. So the social workers that we work with go online to an online ordering system, just like Amazon.com or something.
Right.
And they place the order for the child in need. And they write exactly, so John is 6 years old and he needs outfits, and he wears a size 5'6", and his favorite color is blue, and he needs
That's
some
wonderful.
toys
Individualized.
and books, and he loves dinosaurs, and all of those notes are what makes the volunteer experience so great, because you're really trying to meet the needs.
You're trying to match up.
Yes, and so we get these really a shopping list and go through
Yeah.
the warehouse and fill up a package for the child, and then the social worker comes to our warehouse and picks up the package and delivers it to the child or the family.
I see. So, and the social worker, I'm assuming, is getting the list from parents.
Yes.
That's
And that way they know exactly what they need, and we don't have to assess the needs of
right.
the children. The social worker is able to do that and work directly with the parents to find out what the children need.
And do your volunteers come, you said all different ages, do they come from a lot of different communities all over Massachusetts too? Is that pretty
Yes.
widespread?
Yes, and come from all different groups as well. So we have school groups come in, we have corporate groups, faith-based organizations. We have Girl Scout troops come in.
Really? Yeah.
Everyone has something to give, and so it's so great. A lot of families come in as a weekend activity, or last week was school vacation week, and so we had a lot of families coming in as an activity to do over vacation. And I think it's great because the kids really have fun doing it
Yes.
while they're making such a big difference.
Do you ever get responses from, or letters or things from people who have received?
We do, and we call it sunshine.
I love it. That's cool, Liz.
And we get notes and pictures, thank you notes from the children, and they're so touching, and they really do appreciate it. But in other cases, they don't know where the things are coming from, which is fine too. But it's always nice to get those thank you
I
notes,
bet.
and we love to share them with our volunteers.
And just for the audience who are watching that might want to be involved, what's the website that they should contact you by, just so that we get that established too, in case
Yes.
they're interested in helping?
They can find out all the ways they can get involved at www.cradlestocrayons.org.
Goodness, there's it's on the screen for everybody to see. That's just wonderful. And Do you get some feedback from volunteers about how it feels for them to be involved in this? Do you ever hear any things about that?
Yes, and I love hearing especially from the kids who are having fun doing it, and a lot of them, even we have some families who the parents tell us that the kids play Cradles to Crayons at home, which is really so cute.
That is adorable.
So they clean out their closets and then they do the sorting right in their house because they have fun doing it. So it's great that they can take it home and know that they're making a difference.
I love what you said before about how it gives opportunities for children of all ages too to be involved, and adults for sure too. And it sounds too like, as I picture this huge factory you were talking about, I'm picturing people of different ages working side by side with a common goal.
Yes.
To me, that's the sunny side of the street right there, if I ever could think of it.
Yes, it's very powerful to see that. Everyone coming together for a common cause.
Yeah.
And right now we're in our campaign that we call Spring Greening. And it's especially appropriate with Earth Day coming up and everything. And during our Spring Greening campaign, we're trying to launch our first statewide collection. And right now we have over 70 towns throughout the state doing their spring cleaning for Cradles to Crayons.
Nice.
So it really connects communities across the state to help those children in need.
That's wonderful. If you were to say from your position that you work in, the biggest challenges in doing a program like this, because it's obviously beautiful in a lot of ways. I just love listening to what you're saying you do. It makes so much sense to me. What would you say are the hardest parts of trying to make this program work?
Well, right now our biggest challenge is having enough stuff, having enough clothes really is the challenge, because the need is so great, and during these times communities that used to have a lot of excess things, some people don't have that anymore, and a lot of people do consignment sales now, and so items that used to come to us, families maybe have to try and make some money off of their items and everything during these tough times. So we really just don't have enough stuff right now, and it's such a hard feeling to have when we see packages go out the door that didn't meet all of the requests of the child. So cleaning out your closets is the biggest thing that people can do right now. And we have a lot of drop-off locations throughout the state.
Tell us about that.
So if you go to our website, again, www.cradlestocrayons.org, you can find a drop-off location closest to you, so you don't have to come all the way to Brighton.
Oh, that's great to know. For all of the people watching here, if you're listening, I mean, I'm hoping that maybe the shortage of items, you may look around at your place today and say what kind of things, and you have a website and you can learn drop-off locations. Maybe that could reach some more kids. That would be so wonderful.
And every item makes a difference. Just one pair of pants or a sweatshirt can really go a long way.
Wow, that's incredible. How about future directions of this program? Anything that you could see that you'd like to see added or you're hoping might develop too? Anything additional?
Well, I think right now we just moved into the space in Brighton this past January, so that was a big move for us. We moved from Quincy to Brighton, and the space in Quincy was much smaller.
Oh, so you have more space. Okay.
So the need is just, we still have a long way to go. And like I said, our challenge right now is the stuff. So in terms of in the future, I would just love to see the warehouse filled with things and being able to fill everything that the child really needs and reaching more children. So last year we distributed 55,000 packages, but there's over 305,000 kids, so we have a long way to go.
Absolutely, yeah. That's to try to meet that need is really important too. What about from your point of view? You got out of college, you did the AmeriCorps, and and now you're in this position. A couple questions. One would be, what is it meaning to you to do this? Because I think for people that maybe are thinking about working in a kind of setting like this, I'd like them to hear your perspective on that. And secondly, just a brief comment, if you could, on what's the size of the staff now in terms of how that operates for this program.
Sure. So I love working at Cradles to Crayons.
I can tell. And that's good.
It's just so great to see volunteers and young children all the way and adults passionate about giving back. And that's why I love going to work every day, because I just saw a video that we have a birthday star program where kids decide to ask for donations for Cradles instead of asking for gifts for themselves. And I just saw this video online that one of our birthday stars, her mother, posted. And her name was Chloe, and she's 4 years old. And she was asking for gifts for Cradles to Crayons instead of for herself. And those are the kind of things that really, that's what makes me excited to go to work, because children that young are trying to help out other kids their age and older and younger. And that's so moving. It
is moving, and I guess one of the things I would say, just from working with people in my practice, is that one of the most important skills that I think helps people feel better about themselves and contributes to our whole society is the ability to develop empathy really early.
Yes.
And you've got kids really young learning to be a part of something bigger than themselves and to look outside just their own needs and say, let me put myself in the place of that child who doesn't have that third coat, for example.
Right.
You know?
And we see kids who pull a wagon around their neighborhood if they come to the Giving Factory and see that we didn't have any clothes for kids size 5, 6, and those kids, when they leave, feel like they have to do something about it, and they pull a wagon around their neighborhood and knock on their neighbors' doors and everything, and that's just so great. And like you said, develops empathy from a really young age and empowers them to make a difference.
Absolutely. And then I think about those kids who receive the backpacks. That was a wonderful story when you were saying, how they react. And I'm also thinking about what is the implication of people who are in such desperate situation getting the message that people care and they cared enough. And what if they found out a little kid really contributed to their little kid? What does that mean for the people receiving these packages?
We've had some mothers who receive things from Cradles speak to us before.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And the mothers just say, you don't understand how big of a difference this made to my family and I. We had one mother who she had a baby of her own, and she had younger siblings, and her mother fell ill, and she had to take in her younger siblings as well, and in order to not have her family separated.
Right.
And she was already struggling to make ends meet. And she told us a few equations to think of. Backpacks for her siblings and for her daughter meant that she could pay the bills for that month. Or winter coats meant that she could get gas so she could go to work. And
instead of those terrible choices you were talking about before, they could choose to get their necessities met.
Right. And they don't have to make those decisions between buying groceries or buying new shoes for them to go back to school.
That's wonderful. Now, who do you have helping you? How large a staff is there at Cradles?
There's about 20 full-time staff members.
Oh, really? Okay, it's pretty big.
In Boston. And then we have another site in Philadelphia that serves the children in the greater Philadelphia area. And they are a little bit smaller. They have about 10 staff at this time. They were founded in 2006.
I'm curious, you may not know the answer to this, but I wonder, what is the possibility that programs like this could be in other cities around the country too at some point?
I think that it will definitely happen. How it happened in Philadelphia was a champion, though, who recognized the need, heard about the model, actually through, this was before I was with the organization, but during Hurricane Katrina, Cradles to Crayons did a big collection at Gillette Stadium.
Oh, wow.
And brought a truck down with all the items.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And our founder met a woman in Louisiana who was from Pennsylvania. And that's how she learned about it and realized that she could establish the same model in that area. But it really takes someone like Lynn, who founded the
Yes.
organization in 2002, in the corner of her office to make it happen and really put your whole heart into it. So I think that it could work in many other locations, but need that champion to...
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good point you're making. You need somebody, kind of a charismatic leader, somebody that's willing to, has the idea and has the energy and the time to really work
Yes.
on it.
Because Lynn started, she's actually been referred to as, by one of our board members, as Robin Hood, because because she went around herself with a truck in the beginning,
Yeah.
picking up at people's homes. And
Robin Hood. That's right. She's taking from the
yeah,
victims.
and so it was really started very grassroots, and many of those practices, though, it's still a very grassroots organization from the community level.
Sure.
But I just can't imagine having my office with children's items, you know, when you're also doing another business on.
Yeah, it's amazing. Also, it would be really interesting to look at where the volunteers come from, how they come to you, you know, what kind of motivations they must have in wanting to do this in the first place, you know, how they hear about this and how they end up deciding, I'm going to give some time and I'm going to get involved in sitting in that factory and working.
Right. Well, I think that especially with the schools, everyone volunteers now, so people are actually seeking.
Yeah.
The demand is high for volunteer opportunities in some cases,
Right.
especially because we're able to take children. So for the schools, they're seeking opportunities everywhere to volunteer, and we always encourage them or let them know that there's many things that they can do even outside of coming to our factory.
Yes.
They can do things in their own community that will make will really make a difference.
It sounds like one of the really very good things that was done in the early days of the program was making a good connection with the schools, realizing
Yes.
there's a lot that they represent amazing resources for a program like this.
Oh yes, yeah, in addition to volunteer support, they're the ones who have the stuff we need. Those kids are the ones who, when they grow out of their jeans, we want them.
Yes.
Because we need them. We oftentimes run into a pant shortage.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay, so those of you who have pants and you're ready to let them go, definitely. Well, you really have helped us see a lot, Liz. You know, not only how wonderful a service you provide, but maybe get people to think about what they have and what good it could do. So I want to thank you again for coming. It was wonderful to talk to you.
Thank you, you too. Thank you for having me.
Very glad to. And again, I want to thank the audience for watching and hope you'll tune in another time, again, the next time we do On the Sunny Side of the Street. Take care, everybody, and thanks.
Is your step. Life can be so sweet on the sunny, sunny, sunny side of the street.